Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have yet another example of Netflix making a movie that's specifically, I guess, supposed to be targeting black audiences and going with the typical trope of every single black movie has to be reliant on an anti-white message. It's very odd. For a group of people that supposedly want to separate themselves from oppression, they sure as hell rely on making anti-white messages a thing in every single one of their movies, at least when it's made by mostly progressives anyway. So we have an article here from Fandom Pulse that says Netflix is not satisfied with subtle subversion in Family Switch and adds an out-of-place anti-white dialogue. So it's very funny to see this, considering that we just made a video a couple weeks back about the Academy of Magical Negroes or whatever the hell the freaking movie is called. It really is quite ridiculous that we're seeing all of these black targeted movies have this anti-white message in it, and it really is quite sad to see it happen. So let's get into this article, guys, from Fandom Pulse. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button, man. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. So it says a new Netflix comedy, if you want to call it a comedy, Family Switch, as to be expected, checks some wokeness boxes, but apparently it was just too subtle, so they decided to add a weirdly out-of-place anti-white piece of dialogue. From the synopsis on Netflix's website, it says in the new Netflix comedy Family Switch, the four members of the Walker family find themselves in a classically inconvenient Freaky Friday-style body swap. Courtesy of an ill-timed visit to an astrological observatory, suddenly father and son, mother and daughter, baby and dog all find themselves in each other's bodies and lives with all its mayhem that it entails. In order to get back into their bodies, parents and children will have to learn to truly relate to and understand one another. Not an easy task, especially on a busy day full of college interviews, soccer tryouts, and other life-changing events. Now, again, isn't it weird that this film is it seems like that would be a normal synopsis, you know what I mean? Like, I think people would be okay with that. That should be fine. It seems like a very typical low budget, very low effort kind of comedy movie that they're trying to go for, which is okay. But the funny thing is here, and let me correct myself really quick, ladies and gentlemen, I thought this was a black AIM film, but apparently it's a white family in this film, which makes the whole anti-white thing even more ridiculous, because the fact is, white guilt is one of the worst things that you can have. Honestly, it is. Like, it's one of the worst things that you can even be around. I cannot stand talking to white people who hate themselves. I feel like it is so cringe. It is so unbelievably pathetic that you hate yourself for something that you didn't even do. You were born so long ahead, like so much ahead of actual slavery, and still you feel guilty for some odd reason. You feel like you owe black people an apology. I see people with white guilt kissing the boots of black men in California. It really is cringy and pathetic, but this is that kind of a movie, apparently. I really thought it was a black family. I didn't even know, but apparently no, it's a white family. So this just makes it even worse. It says Family Switch certainly has all the ingredients of a good comedy in the style of 13 Going on 30 and Freaky Friday, and the official trailer certainly has some funny moments, but with a 44% critic score and a 45% viewer score on Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't look like it's going to be a doozy. Of course, Family Switch does tick boxes on the woke checklist. There's the go girl be a boss trope, and there's a boy girl inversion with the daughter being the sports jock and the son being the bookish nerd, but apparently the subversive messaging was all too subtle for Netflix, and they just had to throw in some totally out of place dialogue. So we have a post here from Libs of TikTok over on X where it says, scene from Family Switch on Netflix demonizes white people. A family is in a museum and an exhibit is broken. The worker explains some clumsy family came and knocked over the telescope, and you know they was white because black people don't create problems like this. Oh, really? They're injecting anti-white racism into movies. Anti-white racism is the only form of discrimination that's allowed and celebrated. Oh, really? This is hilarious. Some clumsy family came and knocked over the telescope, and you know they was white because black people don't create problems like this. Wow, really? Is that what we're going with? Black people don't destroy property. Okay, I have millions of people that were involved in certain peaceful, fiery protests that loved to destroy property, and the majority of them were black, and they were followed by white liberals who were supporting them because they love the BBC. It's very clear, ladies and gentlemen, that this is just, it is such an obvious, I really don't know what to even say. It's such an obvious trope that they're trying to follow, and it's sad, man. Like, you just know a white person wrote that line, right? Like, you know that a white person wrote that line. Even though it was delivered by a black person, it doesn't matter. A white person, I guarantee you, wrote that line into the film. Let's play this. I'm gonna play this really quick and see what actually, gets said. Let's see.
Turn down all the lions. I'm sorry, but the exhibit's closed. Some clumsy family came in and knocked over the telescope last night. And you know they was white because black people don't create problems like this.
You can fix...
Bro, I mean, how much clearer do you need it to be? Really? I mean, it is so stupid. It really is stupid. Like, why do you have to interject that? There is no reason for that dialogue to even be in there, but that dialogue is in there because somebody needed it to be. Somebody wanted it to be. You get what I'm saying? Like, they needed that line to be in there, and now they got their wish. So it says that very odd and out of place dialogue adds absolutely no value. It isn't even funny, and it wasn't even necessary for the plot. So why did they slip it in? Just another racist stab at white people? Or did they slip it in into sow more racial discontent? Because dumb tricks like this sure aren't going to advance racial relations, as can be seen in the comments on the Libs of TikTok tweet. Do you believe the producers really thought it would be a funny scene, or do you believe it was done deliberately? I believe it was done 100% deliberately. And also, too, ladies and gentlemen, you guys got to understand, we're going into 2024 here. They are going to ramp up the racial division. They are going to make sure that, and if you could actually follow this, you could follow this on Google Trends, and you can see that racial division and racial divide kind of goes quiet for 3 years, and then on the 4th year, all of a sudden, it skyrockets to the absolute moon until the election is over. Democrats try to win, and if they win, then all of a sudden it goes away. If they don't win, then they just do it for 4 years to try to make everybody miserable until they win again. This is their playbook. They make sure that when it comes to election year, everything is about the fucking message. Everything has to be about the message, and they need to make sure that the racial division is at maximum capacity at all times for the entirety of the year 2024, and that's what's going to happen. So I guarantee you, this is not the end of it. We're going to see little subtle jabs like this at white people throughout the entire year of 24, all the way until election year is over. So don't expect it to go away. Don't expect it to stop. I would honestly expect it to ramp up even worse, and you're going to get cringy. And again, it's super cringe when it's white people who feel the guilt. It really, really is. Like, you guys, you you white progressives are really just the bane of a lot of people's existence. I'm sorry, it's true. Like, you guys really want the entire world to feel sorry for black people, to feel sorry for any other minority other than white people. Like, you want the entire world to feel like you're virtuous, like you're not racist. You try to do everything in your power to convince everybody that you're not racist. But at the end of the day, we all know you're not really hanging out with Tyrone in the hood. You know what I'm saying? You're staying in your suburbs. You're not hanging out in the hood for the most part. And if you are, it's probably some blonde chick who's trying to get a little bit of BBC addiction satisfied, and then she ends up going back home ashamed with her father that she did what she did. But still, I don't know, man. This thing is so unbelievably sad. I just end up making fun of it at the end of the day, because what else can you do? What else can you do when you have clear white guilt being written into this show and they're trying to pass it off as a comedy? So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.